大家好，欢迎来到豆花二人组，我是生云。今天我们要来读这个文章，我们要即将开始了。Imagine you live in a castle. How great would that be? You're a noble. You have lots of servants. You have tons of money and power, and secret passageways to explore. Sounds awesome, right? Well, kind of. Not to burst your bubble, but real-life castles were super uncomfortable. Back in the Middle Ages, the days of knights, nobles, and peasants, no one had electricity. That means no light and definitely no video games. If that weren't hard enough, castles were cold and damp, heated only with stone fireplaces. In summer, they could be hot. Air conditioning was still hundreds of years away. But castles weren't supposed to be comfortable. They were supposed to be safe. During the Middle Ages, nobles in Europe ruled over parcels and land that they had to defend. The castles weren't just status symbol. They were fortresses with layers and layers of defense. So, if you were a noble, you would rely on all those layers to keep you safe. The first layer of defense was often the moat, a ditch filled with water surrounding the castle. So, what's the big deal about a little water? Back then, modern plumbing didn't exist, and no one used toilets. When someone went to the bathroom, one of the servants had to dump it somewhere. Where did it often end up? The moat. Yup. The moat was basically a smelly, festering swamp. Pretty effective, right? Who would want to swim through that? And intruders who fell into it often found that they were sharpened stakes hidden beneath the water. Yikes. Yeah, there was a bridge to get across the moat, but it was a drawbridge. Enemy forces closing in draw up the bridge, so there is no way to cross. Good luck to anyone trying to get past that moat, unless they want to swim, of course. If intruders did get lucky and crossed the moat, they would have to deal with the curtain. That was an outer wall that surrounded the castle or its grounds. It was tough to get past that part. Sieges could last for months, so the wall was built really thick, sometimes 6 feet, 1.8 meters. The super thick walls could protect the castle from these long raids. Towers were also built at its corner. This way, archers could see enemies advancing from any direction and shoot anyone who got too close. But let's say some really lucky people made it to the curtain and planned to go up that tower and battle with those archers. Well, they couldn't exactly run to the top of a tower since the spiral staircases were super narrow and steep, and the staircases always wound clockwise. It make it difficult for right-handed sword fighters. As fighters worked their way up the staircase, they exposed more of their bodies to their opponents. That center pole was always in the way of swordman's right hand. Talk about enough. Talk about tough. Past the curtain, there was the gatehouse. It had many defense features, including a narrow passage. If the enemy managed to make it that far, they would be confined to this passage, exposing them to archers who lurked above. The gatehouse also had a hole cut in the ceiling. Defenders could use it to pour boiling water on invaders, or anything they wanted, really. In case enemies got past all the layers and defense, many castles were built with secret rooms and passageways. These days, the ideas of a secret room is really cool. But back then, hidden places provided a way for Lord so and so to hide or escape. So, living in castles was no panic. Neither was trying to invade it. 我们读完文章了，谢谢大家来听我念。如果我有念错，请在底下留言，而且记得订阅我的频道。希望你可以再见到我一次。所以我们现在玩了，可以结束了，拜拜。